Spectrum's coverage of the 2018 FHSAA Football Championships continues tonight with the Class 7A title game. The undefeated Lakeland Dreadnaughts taking on the 13-1 St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. Here's a look at how both teams advanced to this 7A final. Lakeland high-scoring games against both Plant and Edgewater to get to 14-0 and have another chance at a championship. St. Thomas Aquinas dominant, as always is the case throughout the playoffs. The Raiders defeated Venice 38-18 in last year's state semifinal. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Orlando. Austin Lyon, Jeff Carlson, thank you so much for joining us. This is the 5th championship game of the weekend, and walking around the stadium today, you feel like everything leading up to this was a preliminary bout, and now it's time for the main event. Two heavyweight programs on the field tonight.
Yeah, glad to see them, and they have such an awesome history when you go back through the years of them battling, and Lakeland leads that, but it has been St. Thomas Aquinas here just about every single year and usually bashing their opponent. I like to see Lakeland tonight because they are a quality program that can battle back against Aquinas, and we should have a great matchup. We'll see. There's still size differential in the trenches, but it should be a great matchup.
Aquinas has won 3 of the last 4 state championships. Lakeland looking for title number 7 tonight, and their chances may rest on the shoulders of this young man, DeMarcus Bowman, one of the top junior running backs in the country.
He certainly is. Nobody's been able to stop him all year long, and we'll see about Aquinas tonight, but this guy has been fantastic. Plant couldn't tackle him a couple of weeks ago at all, and if they run the option game the way they know how to, it'll be tough on the defense for Aquinas.
35 touchdowns this season for Bowman. He'll be going up against a defense that has an embarrassment of riches. Look at the colleges that these players are committed to for Aquinas. You see Ohio State, Oklahoma, Alabama for Braylon Ingram.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was just talking about, you know, getting him some space and running against this group, but it is going to be tough sledding. So the offensive line for Lakeland is big, so they may have a chance.
Lakeland coached by legend Bill Castle, now 73 years old. He is in his 43rd season on the sidelines at Lakeland, and he has won all 6 of the school's state championships. Aquinas will start the game by kicking off. It is Logan Lupo that has it teed up at the 40. Raiders a heavy favorite in this game. They are ranked in the top 10 in the country by some publications. Lakeland undefeated on the year, 14-0. This certainly one of the most anticipated championship games of this weekend. Lupo's kick is a good one, lands 9 yards deep, and the Lakeland offense will start from the 20-yard line with Daiwanski McWilliams at quarterback, a 6'1 senior, starting quarterback at George Jenkins, a different school in Polk County a year ago. He has come in and stabilized this unit, more of a runner than a thrower.
Yeah, he does a good job with the read option. He leaves the ball in the pocket of the running back for a long period of time and then can pull it at the right time. And that's very difficult for defenses to stop. But you know what? They're running into a juggernaut, so we'll just have to see how it starts to go.
Play at the line of scrimmage going to be key in determining the outcome tonight. Aquinas with good penetration on the first carry by DeMarcus Bowman. It goes for a loss of 3. Show you the Lakeland offense, backs and receivers. Bowman obviously the focal point offensively. Keon Zipperer is rated as the 4th best senior tight end in the country. He is a very capable blocker. Chris Howard also having a good year at receiver. Up front, keep your eye on Davey Hammond, 6'4", 320 pounds. He was once committed to Alabama. He is a 4-star prospect, one of the top offensive linemen in the nation. Second down and 13. McWilliams under immediate pressure as they move the pocket. Nice catch made by Zipperer. He stumbles up to the 22, and there's a flag down.
It's going to come back for the hold in the backfield. Whenever you move your quarterback, put your offensive lineman in some tough open space.
Correction, half the distance. Replay second down.
And these were the types of situations that Bill Castle was hoping to avoid and that Roger Harriet wanted desperately for his defense to create. Second, third, and long with Lakeland behind the chains.
It's funny how we get into these state championship games and we see these teams play from behind the sticks so often, and they're rarely ever done it throughout the entire season because they're so good and so dominant. But here they are deep at the 5-yard line.
There's one receiver in the formation. It's a draw. Bowman works his way out close to the 10, and it's going to be third down and about 21. This Aquinas defense has 7 shutouts this year, limiting opponents to 7.5 points per game. And as you saw with that graphic in the open, there are high major FBS commits all over the field. There are even some backups that are committed to high major programs. That's the depth of talent on this Aquinas roster. McWilliams under pressure in the end zone, able to elude a rusher. He stumbles down at the 13-yard line. Tyreek Sapp, sophomore backup defensive end, will get credit for the tackle. And Lakeland goes 3 and out.
Last night we saw some runs by the quarterback and then they slipped. Sometimes on this turf they just put their feet down a little differently and slipped because there was space for him to get out of there, and he probably would not have picked up the first down, but could have gotten it out of there even better than that. But a great start for Aquinas' defense.
Jace Hohenthaler is the punter for Lakeland. Jordan Battle standing at the 45. Not particularly deep. Battle makes the fair catch in plus territory, and this has been what Aquinas has done throughout the year. Defense makes a big stop. Offense starts with great field position. The Aquinas quarterback is 6'2" senior Kurt Castile. He is committed to Harvard. In his second season as the starter, numbers are impressive. 26 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. But this is an offense that wants to run the football behind a big offensive line.
And realize they haven't had to play into the fourth quarter all that much this year.
They start with a run by Nigel White. A little bit lighter of the 2 running backs, and Lakeland formidable up front. We'll talk a lot about the Aquinas defense as the night goes along, but this front 7 for Bill Castle's team is impressive.
They are, but they're just not as big as the offensive line of Aquinas, so we'll have to see, does the quickness outweigh the strength outweigh? You like that, right? The big offensive line, can they get around them and get hits on into the backfield and then be able to make the tackle?
No gain on the first run by White. Nice completion for Castile out to Marcus Rosemead, rated as the 2nd best junior recruit in the entire state of Florida. He's got 8 touchdown receptions this year, 7 each for Jamal Cooney and Xavier Restrepo. The offensive line is outstanding. Vinnie Murphy is the leader. You'll see him most often at center. He is committed to South Carolina. Jake Pope committed to Kentucky. Martinez has offers from LSU and Kentucky. Third down and 3, an early movement on the right side of that line. It looked like Marcus Dumerville, who is the nephew of former NFL standout Elvis Dumerville.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And any team that plays Aquinas needs them to make mistakes. That's probably the easiest way, the best way to try to compete and maybe beat Aquinas is if they make their own mistakes.
That's been the goal of Aquinas' opponents this year. Get them in 3rd and long and make Castile have to beat you with his arm. They'll roll him out on 3rd and 8. Pressure from Lakeland with a flag down. Castile slings it incomplete along the Aquinas sideline. Great work there by the Dreadnaughts defense. It seems obvious to decline this, but then maybe Aquinas goes for it on 4th and 8. Do you consider taking this?
That's what I was thinking, that they have so much confidence that maybe they would go for it. So you take it and push it back because it's 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding.
So
Offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay 3rd down.
yeah, you push them all the way to the 45-yard line on the other side of the field. I think it's the right call, Austin. Like you said, you would normally decline it, try to get the ball back, but they might just go for it, and you're afraid that they could convert something like that and then have the ball down inside the 30-yard line.
So instead of 4th and 8, it is 3rd and 25.
Well, if Lakeland can hold them and not get a first down, even if they pick up 20, 25 yards or close to it, they're still going to get the ball better than they would have if they kicked a field goal or anything else.
Conservative call with the run by Daniel Carter. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage. So a gain of 15 and 4th and 10 for the Raiders.
I'll tell you what, look at number 5 right now. This guy is a solid stud. And I was watching a Venice game, and they did not want to tackle this guy, and he could push him down. Did you happen to see Derrick Henry's 99-yard run?
I did, yeah.
From last night. We were doing the game last night, the 4A game, but he was pushing people around. Well, Daniel Carter did the same kind of thing with Venice defenders. They did not want to come up and tackle him. We'll see how Lakeland's defense does. They were able to get him down there after a 15-yard gain.
Logan Lupo on to punt. Good pressure off the edge from the Dreadnaughts. And Lupo gets it close to the 10-yard line. These two programs combined have won 16 state championships, 10 for Aquinas, 6 for Lakeland. Aquinas with more consecutive playoff appearances than any team in state history. Lakeland has stumbled in the early rounds of the postseason the last few years, but a talented group this season for Bill Castle that's able to get past, among others, Tampa Plant in the regionals to get here to Camping World Stadium.
Yeah, they looked really dominant doing it. So that's the good thing, and the reason I'm excited to see him play tonight and try to come up against Aquinas. But I want to see how long Bill Castle stays in a conservative offense and comes downhill, because I don't think they can beat this front seven for Aquinas if they just play straight downhill football.
Nice hole there for Bowman. He gets about 9 near the 20. Let's show you the Aquinas defense. Mentioned Braylon Ingram in the open. Defensive end is an Alabama commit. Also got Doomerville and Derek Wingo up front. Wingo with offers from Clemson and Ohio State, among others. All 3 of the linebackers are rated among the top 40 in the country at their position. That's how good Solomon Brown and Huff are. In the secondary, Jaden Davis is an Oklahoma commit. Jordan Battle, the other safety, headed to Ohio State.
You know, that could be kind of intimidating there, Austin.
2nd down and 1. Bowman looking for room off the right side, and he's shut down by Bobby Washington, the most lightly recruited starter on this Aquinas defense at 5'10", 283 pounds.
And besides the players, it looks like this is the right call defensively, that they were ready for this. So this goes back to what you see on film during the week, and then you prepare for it. It looked like they were ready and slanted right into that play off the right side.
Nothing easy against this Raiders team. You gain 9 on 1st down. You think, okay, we're going to be able to move the chains. Now it's 3rd and 4. McWilliams with an option. Good pitch out to Bowman, and he's got the 1st down. Nice block on the perimeter by Zipperer that allowed Bowman to get the edge.
And that's the play that against Plant was wide open and went for about a 60, 70-yard touchdown run.
Timeout.
This one not quite as far, but it looks really good. That's something that they're going to need to come back to early and often.
That run takes us to the mandatory water break timeout. It comes with 5:33 remaining in the opening quarter. Scoreless here in the 7A championship game. Both of these schools with a number of high-profile alums, guys that have played the game at the highest level. Lakeland located in Polk County, an enrollment of just more than 2,100. Mike and Marquise Pouncey, both NFL offensive linemen who played at Florida, along with Chris Rainey, part of that great run of success for Lakeland. And Chris Sale, left-handed pitcher for the world champion Boston Red Sox.
I saw Chris Rainey. He's still making it happen up in the Canadian Football League. Long punt return for a touchdown. Still a special player. 12 years, 12 years post the last state championship for Lakeland.
Yeah, that 06 game, which we'll talk about during the broadcast tonight, an epic final between Aquinas and Lakeland, maybe the most famous state championship game ever in the state of Florida. Bowman bounced off the initial contact from Bobby Washington back to the line of scrimmage.
Bowman didn't like something in there on that tackle.
You mentioned Rainey. He had 29 touchdowns in 2006. A lot of people think that Rainey might be the best back ever to come out of the Lakeland program, but Bowman, if he's not there yet, certainly has a chance to get there with one more year.
Well, this guy's got size and power. Chris Rainey was just pure speed and moves. He was unbelievable. You felt like he could take it to the house on any play that he got his hands on the ball.
McWilliams throwing it to the outside. Zipper's got it, and he's on his way to the end zone. Does he have enough speed? Zipperer all the way. There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
I just think Lakeland moved early is all it was. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty against Lakeland, and he got out of that single coverage, put it in the end zone. This, hey, even though it's coming back, this is great for Lakeland, just to build that confidence that, hey, every play we've got end zone ability.
Zipper only 12 catches this year, but 4 of them have gone for touchdowns. When he
Illegal
catches
formation.
it, it's normally a
offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Saw Bowman on the outside right, just stumbled a couple steps forward, but again, look, one-on-one. Zipperer is big and strong. Throw the ball out to him. He breaks the tackle, and he had the speed to get to the end zone. So, you know, just put that in the back of your mind. They'll probably come back to it in a few plays. Looked like Bill Castle talking to him about option techniques.
That's where McWilliams has been at his best within this offense, running the option with Bowman. A touchdown negates a penalty rather negates a 70-plus yard touchdown. Here is McWilliams running that option. And he gets it out close to the 30. So a manageable 3rd down and 7 upcoming for the Dreadnaughts.
That was a good read and a good pull. One of the things I had noticed watching film on this guy is he leaves the ball in Bowman's stomach a long time and can really ride it. I was wondering if Aquinas was going to be able to disrupt that more than any other team that they've seen and played against. But if he can ride it for that long period of time, makes the defense commit to the running back, he pulls it out and has that space just like he did on that last play.
Four minutes to go in a scoreless opening quarter between Lakeland and Aquinas. 3rd down and 7. The give is to Reggie Kellum, able to spin out of the initial tackle. Did well to get up to the 30-yard line, but not nearly enough for a 1st down, and Lakeland will be forced to punt for the 2nd time.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. That far away on 3rd down, it's not like it's a 4-down territory where you're going to run and go for it on 4th down inside your own 35-yard line. So I thought that was a very conservative call, like they were just playing to punt this ball away.
Bill Castle heaped a lot of praise on Hohenthaler when I talked to him earlier this week. He likes the height he gets on his punts. This one will benefit from a big bounce. Battle gets away. Ball rolls down to the 31. St. Thomas Aquinas making the trip up from Broward County. Great South Florida representation Friday and Saturday here at the state finals. School with more alums in the NFL than any high school in the country. Got Joey and Nick Bosa, of course, Michael Irvin, and LaMarcus Joyner is a standout at Florida State. And you and I were noticing down on the field a number of the assistant coaches who have connections to Aquinas played either big college football or in the NFL.
They're everywhere. on the field and on the sideline.
Jason Taylor among the assistants. His son Isaiah is a backup corner. Aquinas looking to move quickly after the 4-yard gain by Daniel Carter. Castile looking left, and that off target intended for Theandris Freeman. Show you the Lakeland defense. The front four have been outstanding this season. They've combined for over 100 tackles for loss. Some are all at 6'7", 210. Latrell Jean and Trey Huntley, both 3-star prospects. Linebacking core has Jahari Martin, 120 tackles. Khalil Crawford also over 100. And in the secondary, keep an eye on Quadir Hall. He was a fullback a year ago. Aggressive, hard-hitting safety. 3rd down and 6. Dreadnaughts bring just 4. Castile with a clean pocket finds Restrepo, but he goes down a yard shy of the first.
Throw into the trip side, to the right side, finds his man. Just made sure he made the catch, and here they do, go for it at 4th and 1.
At least going to line up to go for it with Castile under center. Lakeland doesn't flinch, and Roger Harriet calls a timeout.
Timeout. St. Thomas, their first of the half.
I'd be surprised here if they punt this ball away. I know it's a conservative call, and you know it's just what you're supposed to do because it's the first quarter. But you know this St. Thomas Aquinas team is so confident, and I think this coach is confident. I'd be surprised if they send the punter on, but.
There's Roger Harriet, an Aquinas alum, class of 1995. Spent 8 seasons as the head coach at University School in Fort Lauderdale. State title in 2012. Was essentially handpicked by George Smith, longtime head coach and now the athletic director at Aquinas, to be the leader of this program.
Not going to make an unforced error. They got too many people on the field for Lakeland. They got way too many people on the field right now for Lakeland. We'll see if the refs catch it or not.
There's the flag, or at least a flag.
That's a first down. They handed him the first down, an unforced error. Right there, substitution on the special teams. There he goes counting. I think they had 13.
A great eye there catching that.
I was talking about the unforced error. If you don't pick up the first down,
Illegal substitution.
The ball.
Defense. 5-yard penalty. Result is a first down.
That is a huge call against Bill Castle's team. Back-to-back 3-and-outs forced by this defense, but Aquinas with a fresh set of downs at the 45. Castile with a play fake, and he'll take off into Lakeland territory. He slides down shy of the 40. Castile not known as a runner, but he shows some wheels right there. A pickup of 15.
Well, just a mature play from the quarterback. He takes it in, gets his first down easily, and then slides, doesn't take the hit. That's a quality, smart guy. Going to Harvard, as a matter of fact, but he doesn't see what he likes. It's 1st and 10, so take it in. Picks up another first down.
Here's Nigel White. Bounces his way down for a pickup of 8. Now Castile was a starter at the beginning of last season, got hurt, never returned to the same level that he was at the start of the year. Aquinas was shuffling quarterbacks. They ultimately played a defensive end, Derek Wingo, at quarterback down the stretch. And Roger Harriet raved about Castile's resilience. Said it would have been easy for him to not come back and try to work to get the position, but he has earned it, and starting in a state championship game. Carter looking for space, and he'll have a first down, backing his way inside the 30.
you see the methodical piece of the running game added to St. Thomas Aquinas. So when you give up when you hand them a first down, and now they take time and just put pressure on your defense because they're always bigger and stronger.
Final half minute of the opening quarter. Aquinas trying to take advantage of a mistake by Lakeland. Penalty on 4th down that gave the Raiders a first down. Here's Jamal Cooney. Made the catch and had some space. They bumped out at the 9. It'll be 1st and goal.
And I'll tell you what, Lakeland wasn't going to get close to Castile, but he gets it out real quick. This is just real efficiency. Him catch and release, quick out route. And right now, Lakeland is trying to defend the run more than the pass. So when they do that, you see it almost went for a touchdown on just a quick out route to the slot receiver.
Full house backfield. White able to keep his feet, and he gets the ball down inside the 5. And that run is going to take us to the end of this opening quarter. St. Thomas Aquinas, a heavy favorite here in the 7A championship game, but underdog Lakeland hanging in there with a formidable defense. After one here at Camping World Stadium, Lakeland and Aquinas are scoreless in the 7A final. Scoreless between Lakeland and St. Thomas Aquinas here in the 7A title game, but the Raiders positioned to take the lead. They've got 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line, starting to establish something with the run game, averaging over 7 yards per carry. They'll run it with Carter, able to keep his legs up, still driving forward down to the 1.
I was kind of wondering where Carter went on this drive, as White had picked up most of the carries.
The 3rd down and goal for Aquinas. They brought in Jaden Henry, a 3rd running back. Little bit of a flinch by the left tackle. That's freshman Julian Armella.
Prior to the snap, false start offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Well, that's a pretty big penalty. Right there at the 1-yard line, it changes your play call and may go from 7 points to 3.
Aquinas stays with their heavy personnel, just 1 receiver, one-on-one coverage for Roseme at the bottom of the formation. Castile wanted Roseme, ran out of time quickly. Down he goes. That's Khalil Crawford, the linebacker that came knifing through to sack Castile.
He got there quick, because Castile was just going to throw a quick slant or a fade. But look at that, just opened up and the running back couldn't get inside. Henry could not get in front of the quarterback quick enough. That opened up big time for Crawford.
Logan Lupo will attempt a 30-yard field goal, 3 of 4 on field goals this year. Lupo's kick is no good. Drifted left, and Aquinas, which was at the 1 yard line, comes away with nothing.
I was going to say that, I think the Dreadnaughts were going to feel good about giving up only 3 points on that drive, and they give up none, so they're feeling actually great, not good. Now their offense has got to sustain a drive here, take some time off the clock, move the football, go back to that option, and go back to the quick hitch to Zipperer outside.
Missed field goal puts the ball at the 20 for McWilliams and the Lakeland offense. This group scored 56 last week, 49 a couple of weeks ago against Plant. Bowman with space, and he is gone.
And not a yellow flag around.
DeMarcus Bowman with an 80-yard burst, and Lakeland has the lead.
That's the same play they've been able to pull off against everybody else. They made Aquinas look like a normal football team. He left people just grasping for air.
Lakeland's first 9 offensive plays went for 30 yards. The 10th was an 80-yard run by DeMarcus Bowman. It's now 36 touchdowns for him. Hohenthaler adds the PAT. How quickly things can change. Aquinas with the ball at the 1 yard line, and it's 7-0 Lakeland.
Well, and I was going to say, a lot of times when the defense makes a big stand, it lifts the offense and vice versa. And hey, that was the biggest stand you could get there at the 1 to come away with no points to get this long touchdown run. This is a slow developing play. This is something that Aquinas should be able to get. But look at that great kick out block. That was Zipperer kicking that out, clearing the way. The outside linebacker got inside, got pushed inside, and Zipperer got the kick out block.
Bowman hit the hole, and he was gone.
Crowd's filled in pretty nicely for the Lakeland side as well.
As we expected, both of these programs with such big followings. Great crowd for this 7A championship game. Hohenthaler with a big leg. Kickoff goes into the end zone. Aquinas will come out to the 20. Bowman now 36 touchdowns this year. We mentioned Chris Rainey. He had 29 when Lakeland won a state championship against Aquinas in 2006. Stu Butler and Keith Price each with 31.
Well, Chris Rainey's never seen arms that look like that in his life. And Bowman, look, that's 7 extra touchdowns. That's something special, and he's just a junior.
Some kind of good luck charm over there on the Lakeland sideline. Doing the team well so far. And the Lakeland defense energized. Daniel Carter is thrown to the ground by A.J. Thomas.
Yeah, this will be a nice way to see the defense react to. They were on the field for a long period of time because of the penalty that gave Aquinas the first down. Now they got pumped up, and let's see what happens.
Castile, another give to Carter. He has space. Carter trying to answer the Bowman touchdown. Fenley Graham and Quadir Hall track him down at the 23-yard line.
And the other side of the stadium goes nuts. And look, just a one missed tackle at the line of scrimmage. And a lot of space once again.
Carter's longest run of the year. Quick throw out to Jamal Cooney. Nice tackle in space made, and there's Hall once again.
Yeah, I think this is about as well as Lakeland can defend this play. With the 3 receivers outside, you know, they have such strong running backs that you've got to keep linebackers inside, and you can't just spread out to cover the receivers. So 6 yards is a pretty good stop.
Back to White. Ran into a brick wall. Latrell Jean stood him up. Jean, a 3-star prospect, offers from Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Indiana. Bill Castle told us earlier this week he is the leader of the team. He's the spokesman for this group.
And by far the biggest defensive tackle or defensive lineman at only 255 pounds.
3rd down and 3. It's Carter. And he didn't get it. Cut down once again. Khalil Crawford, who had the big play down near the goal line, tackles Carter for a loss.
The senior is having a game. Comes off the edge and finds Carter trying to find something around the corner.
Well, Logan Lupo has already missed from 30 yards. He'll try this one from 35. Out of the hold of Kyle Engel, the backup quarterback. Lupo misses wide left for the 2nd time. Well, everything's a competition at Aquinas, even the start for the starting place kicker job. And Lupo going up against Billy McConnell. Roger Harriet told us those guys go head-to-head in practice. Whoever grades out better is the guy who gets the chance first in a game. And Lupo so far has not been able to convert on either of his kicks.
When you think about Aquinas, they score touchdowns more often than not, so there's not a lot of field goals throughout the season. So you said it's the competition in practice more than anything else.
$7-0 Lakeland leading. Dreadnaughts back on offense after the missed field goal. McWilliams on a designed run. Works his way up for a gain of 2. A lot of bodies in there for Aquinas, among them Wingo. Bill Castle has to be ecstatic with the way this game is playing out so far.
Oh, I think so. A couple of missed field goals and his team to be able to stop him down there and then turn it around with the long touchdown run. I mean, it plays in allowing him to continue to do exactly what he wants to do and not have to come out of their game plan. And I think with every play, their team gains confidence.
McWilliams throws incomplete. Zipperer limping a bit as he came out of his break.
Yeah, and that's not what we normally see. The cramping that happens, whether it happened while he was in the route or stopping, but that's a little bit of a nag of an injury.
So 3rd down and 8. Lakeland 1 for 3 so far on 3rd downs. McWilliams has time, throws complete to the outside. Zipperer with the strength to fight through a defender. That was Miles Bell, a 165-pound corner on the edge, trying to cover Zipperer at 232.
Good to see Zipperer stay in the game, even though he's not feeling 100%. It's a good matchup. He's just got such good size.
So a conversion on 3rd and 8. That's just the 2nd official pass attempt for Daiwanski McWilliams. Play clock at 0, but the officials did not see it. And McWilliams gets belted. That is Braylon Ingram, the Alabama commit, at 6'4", 270 pounds, well down the field. Deavi Hammond was engaged with Bobby Washington. That was 15 yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
The play at the line of scrimmage, or actually behind the line of scrimmage, was the impressive one. We'll see if we can see what was going on. Well, they let it go this time. They won't let them continue to do that kind of stuff. Way away from the play, and well after the play was over.
Lakeland in danger of not getting this play off.
And they won't.
And this time the flag comes out. You played quarterback. How difficult is it for a high school quarterback?
Delay a game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You don't have any kind of play clock throughout the regular season. You have to adjust to seeing one now in the corners, and the officials also have that benefit.
It's hard for everybody, and we talked about that a little bit last night because we saw it happen a few times. Where
timeout. Officials timeout.
I was saying that I think the referees allow a little bit more leeway in the regular season when there's not a clock there, but when it's up on the corner, everybody can see it. They've got to call it.
5:12 to go in the second quarter. Surprising score so far here at Camping World Stadium. 7-0. Lakeland leading Aquinas as the teams take a timeout.
Pretty good start, huh?
Nice crowd on hand for the 7A title game. Former Miami Dolphin Jason Taylor among the coaches on this Aquinas staff. We've been joined by a pretty good coach in his own right, Robert Weiner, head coach of the Plant Panthers, who played this Lakeland team a couple of weeks ago in the region final. Played against Aquinas 2 years ago in the state championship game here at Camping World Stadium. Coach, what are you noticing so far?
No doubt the one thing you see with Lakeland is they look here at a long second down is they're going to have to go down the field a little bit.
McWilliams, short throw, complete to Deshaun Graham, who scoots out of bounds at the 36.
Coach, you came in at exactly the right time. Lakeland just got the penalty. They keep letting the clock go down, and you also have your quarterback come to the sideline to get the play, which is old school, right? Because everybody runs up to the line of scrimmage, and then everybody looks at the sideline. But Coach, he continues to send the player in from the sideline. You get your quarterback to come to the sideline. What about getting set up and using motion and things like that and with that 25-second play clock?
I think that we're a little more kind of prone to motions and things like that other than Lakeland is. They do use that very little. But here in a third down, they're going to again have to go down the field.
First read wasn't there for McWilliams, so he scrambles. Elusive in space, and McWilliams has the first down. He's into Aquinas territory. Scoots out of bounds at the 40. That's a 26-yard run for Daiwanski McWilliams.
And he was able to keep his feet this time. I mean, he's dangerous. Put that ball away, don't drop it. We saw a couple of fumbles last night that cost their team dearly. Keep it protected, that is gold. But this kid is a special runner as well. A lot of good blocks out in front. Lakeland's got it going on right now, and I think they have got a lot of confidence growing.
I think his run earlier on in the game that was about a 10-yard run was the one that set up Bowman's long run after that. He went on what we call a stretch read on the edge, and that's something that they do. You take away one defender of the other team, and so they had to play the quarterback, and then Bowman went into open spaces the next time that they ran the same play. It seems to me that so far in this game, as you look at it,
Lakeland, they're first of the half.
It seems like that every time that Lakeland has gone into kind of their traditional pro sets, their I sets with a tight end and two backs like they tried to at the beginning of the game when they were pinned down, they really had difficulty out of that. And I think if you just allow St. Thomas Aquinas to just stack the box and just run and play you, Bowman's not going to be as effective. There's two plays that Lakeland runs that I know they ran effectively against us for most of the night, is what I call that stretch read, where the quarterback kept it the first time, but Bowman was the one who got it the next time, and he ran into open spaces just like we saw in our game. And one play that they haven't run yet, we call it something different, but they'll overload a side to trips to one side, and then they'll run speed option to the lone side. And that's where they're going to not block one of those players, and they're going to option off of that player, and that's the way that you get Bowman open. And it looks like on the edges here that all of these things they're doing early is what's going to set those things up late. as they go through it.
So this guy on the camera right now has been there for nearly half of a century. A couple years ago, you guys were successful against them. What was different this year versus a couple years ago?
Bowman on the run gets to the 34. Go ahead, Coach.
The first thing that I think is different is just Bowman is a year older, and he's a way different player. I mean, they're always tough and physical on the line of scrimmage. And I think that Lakeland has the same theory against Aquinas that we had against Lakeland this year, and that's if you could keep the game within a score by halftime, the pressure goes on the team that was supposed to win. And so Lakeland wants to get in, and they're up now.
Right.
But if they can get up into half with a lead or keeping it close, the pressure is all on Aquinas.
Aquinas has never seen other than one game against Central when they lost. Other than that, they haven't been challenged the entire year.
McWilliams took a pretty good shot as he kept it on the option down to the 32.
So that wasn't the speed option that I spoke about. That was veer or dive option right there. But the interesting thing there to keep an eye on is now later in the game, they know that they have to play the quarterback now, that there's going to be a play coming up here soon where he's going to pitch that same thing to Bowman, and it's going to take one or two defenders away to the quarterback, and Bowman's going to have some open spaces again. And that, it's not really complicated, but it's about taking defenders away when the other team has players that sometimes might even be more talented than yours.
Lakeland has brought in Khalil Crawford and Jahari Martin as lead blockers on 3rd and 2. They will give it to Martin, and he is very close to the 30-yard line.
Austin, inches short. But, Coach, I mean, the option run properly with a quality quarterback has been hard to stop for 100 years, hasn't it?
No doubt. And I think the hardest teams that it is to stop are teams that don't run the option on a regular basis. Because if they do, you're going to spend the whole week practicing option. But if that's only part of their package, you're going to spend the whole week trying to fly to the football with 11 guys, and then you're not going to maintain your responsibilities in option responsibilities. And I think that's what happens here often.
Well, and also not that many teams run it anymore. You know, they don't run the option, so you get less practice against it.
4th and less than a yard. McWilliams stretches out and will have the first down. Got out of the grasp of Bobby Washington, and the Dreadnaughts move the sticks with the potential to keep it for the rest of this second quarter.
Yeah, this is something that teams cannot do against Aquinas very often. And as Coach was mentioning, they've got the lead, and if they keep it for the rest of the half, that is going to put pressure on Aquinas. It's just something that they're just not used to being behind.
And here's the thing, you think that, you know, no one's really run the ball against Aquinas. Central beat them by throwing the ball into some really, really tough windows, and you think like maybe Lakeland can't throw it. At some point, Zipper might have to become involved. But if they're just going to be able to eat it up like this with Bowman, they're going to control the game and control the clock.
First down run by DeMarcus Bowman. He gains 11, and the Dreadnaughts are inside the 20.
You know, his yearly average is 12 yards a carry. So that was all just playing against average football teams, and it's looking pretty good here in the second quarter.
Yeah, I truly believe that he's one of the best backs in the nation, not only in our state, and he's only a junior, and that's why I say that, because next year, I mean, he will be up there with anybody else in the nation. So even against a good team like Aquinas, he's got an opportunity to really control the ground and control the clock.
Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State among the schools that have offered Bowman, rated as the 6th best junior running back in the country. McWilliams puts the ball on the ground and then gets belted behind the line of scrimmage.
Starting to look like that's the only thing that can stop the Dreads right now. I mean, Aquinas is loading up the defensive box to stop that run and force them to pass. They're going to do it even more until they do pass the ball to stop this run game.
And here's where maybe the game really comes down to, is in these long down and distance situations. Lakeland's not really known this year to be able to sit back and throw in a passing situation. So you might get a play action here because they don't want to set up 3rd and long.
It's a draw to Bowman. Delivered a shot to Isaiah Taylor. That is Jason Taylor's son. As we go under a minute remaining in the first half, it'll be 3rd down and 8 for Lakeland.
One thing on that draw that you'll see is the quarterback brings the ball up to his shoulder into a passing angle, but he overemphasizes it so much. It's something that we tried to drill in practice. that he automatically shows the draw right away.
Yeah, it does look realistic, right, Coach?
Exactly. But the truth is, you have to make the tackle at the end of the day. They had a big play against us on that same play. We knew it was draw.
McWilliams throwing the fade in the direction of Zipperer, makes the catch but out of bounds. That stops the clock with 21 seconds to go. And so now the question is, does Lakeland try a field goal or will they go for it on 4th down? Here comes Hohenthaner to try a field goal.
How much pressure is he pushing on this receiver to get him out of bounds? I mean, I don't think Zipperer was running out of bounds on his own. That's a lot of push without ever looking back for the football.
It'll be a 33-yard field goal attempt for Jace Hohenthaner.
And he is an excellent field goal kicker. He's done a good job all year. And
timeout.
Obviously,
St. Thomas.
Obviously, St. Thomas had a problem earlier on in the game, you know, at the same things. But the one thing that's true, you know, in the moment when it is for a kicker, is that it's much different under the lights here at Camping World Stadium than it is under the lights of your home field. And that thing changes right away.
Just a little different playing in this one, huh, Coach?
No doubt.
How did you change your game day situation? You guys always played at night. You always play a night game at 8 p.m., so that doesn't change too much.
Yeah, we played 2 of them in the day. Our first one in 06 that we won, and our second one or our third one in 09 that we won. And the other 4 that we've played have been night games. But we try to just get that from the beginning and tell our kids that this is a different game. We don't pretend that it's not. And we want them to approach it as a different game. We want them to come in and enjoy it and drink it all in and then just go out there and have a blast. Don't forget to be a kid and go play some ball.
Wide receiver Chris Howard is the holder. Jahari Martin, the linebacker's the long snapper.
He moved. We saw in the earlier goal.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
We saw in the earlier games these 5-yard penalties on field goals. Sometimes you think it doesn't make a difference. And the 5-yard penalties made a difference in the earlier game. Really swung that in Cardinal Gibbons' favor early on when they did not have the momentum.
So instead of 33, it'll be 38 yards. That's 1 shy of Hohenthaner's season long. And Roger Harriet will burn his final timeout of this first half.
Coach, I was wondering if it's
St. Thomas.
If it's a nice feeling to be able to confuse your state championship appearances.
That is a very nice feeling. We've been blessed with a lot of tremendous players and played teams like this. We've been able to get Lakeland a couple times and just been fortunate. We've had some crazy finishes against it. And you see right there, I mean, probably the most legendary coach in the state of Florida, and Bill Castle. And we've been fortunate a couple times. We've beaten them 4 times. They've beaten us twice. They got us this year. And we've played St. Thomas twice in the finals, and those are the only 2 finals that we've lost, are the 2 to Aquinas. So, you know, to be out here and watch actually is even a little bit painful. But you can see there's some of the great.
I don't know if the game that you played against them at your place with the blocked field goal at the end, did that game get named something? That was pretty fantastic. Does it have a special name?
I think it's the Miracle at Dad's.
Yeah, I believe it.
So finally, we're going to get an attempt here from Jace Hohenthaner. 38-yard attempt, and he drills it.
Good shot.
Just the 3rd field goal of the year made by Jace Hohenthaner. What a great looking kick.
Yeah, there was good pressure. They got a lot of guys coming over the top and get that up and out and put a 10-pointer on Aquinas. Pretty good first half for the Lakeland Dreadnaughts.
A 2-possession lead for Lakeland. Coach, how surprised are you at the score right now?
Well, you know, I really thought that Lakeland wouldn't be able to run the ball as effectively as they have. I mean, they in essence took up that whole second quarter with that drive. And, you know, they had the penalty on the one before, but I really thought they were going to have to involve Zipperer in the game in order to beat Aquinas, but they've only had to involve him a little bit at this point because they have been so effective. And the good thing about this is that once you get to be effective against a team, that gets in their head for the entire second half. And they may stop you once or twice, but then Bowman's going to pick up 8-10 yards, and they're going to think maybe we can't really get that guy stopped.
And to overcome when they had the penalty on that 4th down, and Aquinas drove the ball the entire field after that, taking a lot of time, like you're talking about now with Lakeland, to overcome that and to have a 10-point lead is a really special half.
That last drive was more than 7 minutes off the clock. Returned by Aquinas, just shy of the 40 with 10 seconds to go. Aquinas trying to match Jacksonville Bowls with 11 state championships, most ever for any program in Florida. And Lakeland trying to win its first title since that epic championship game against Aquinas back in '06, in which Lakeland was up 35-14 with 2 minutes to go. St. Thomas Aquinas scored, recovered 2 onside kicks. The game ultimately went to overtime, and in the second OT, Lakeland got a stop on 4th and goal from the 1 to win it. Kurt Castile takes a knee. Raiders will head to the locker room trailing 10-0. Nationally ranked Aquinas behind the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. Coach, we appreciate you hanging out with us for part of that second quarter. I enjoyed it. We wish you the best luck as you head into next season.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
That's Robert Weiner, the head coach of the Plant Panthers.
Thank you.
We'll step aside as the teams head back to their respective locker rooms. Jeff and I will be back for the third quarter. 10-0, Lakeland leading here in the 7A championship game. Halftime of the 7A championship game here at Camping World Stadium in downtown Orlando, and a surprising score at the half. Lakeland undefeated at 14-0, but a huge underdog against nationally ranked St. Thomas Aquinas. The Dreadnaughts ahead 10-0 as we get closer to start the third quarter. Roger Harriet's team not used to being down. This is their 15th game of the year. 12 of their previous 14 have resulted in running clock victories. But Lakeland got a big play in the first half from junior tailback DeMarcus Bowman.
Sure did, and it was a slow developing play, but he just got the right blocks, and then what he does normally is just outrun everybody to the end zone. He did it here against a very fast and great defense. Got them off to a great start and got their confidence built up early.
Only other score in the first. In the closing moments, Jace Hohenthaler from 38 yards away knocked it through. Aquinas missed 2 fairly short field goals in the first half. The Raiders positioned to score but could not break through, so Lakeland with a slight edge in total yardage and time of possession.
Yeah, and the time of possession in that second quarter was critical to keep Aquinas' offense off the field and put those tack on those last 3 before the half. That was big time right now for Lakeland.
So we were talking at the half during the break, and the biggest question is this going to continue? Can Lakeland hang on? You, after watching 2 quarters, believe they can.
I think they can, and I'll tell you what I was doing in the halftime besides talking to you is I was talking to Coach Shakur from Manatee High School, who's had success over a long period of time, and he went back to when he coached at Lincoln years ago, 2001. What he said to me just now was that the teams that have been successful against Aquinas over a 20-year period of time are the teams that can run the option. And guess what? That's what Lakeland has done and done successfully. So if they run it well, they very well could hold on to this. But, I mean, it's a big task to go up against a big offensive line, very powerful running backs, and Castile can sling the ball around. Lakeland really did tighten it up and stop the run in the first half. If Castile is able to accurately get the ball outside wide, they're going to have to tackle well and stop them for short gains, or else there could be some big plays for Aquinas in the passing game.
I'll show you some of the individual numbers. DeMarcus Bowman, 125 yards, 119 yards, I beg your pardon, on the ground. 80 of them coming on that touchdown run. Castile, 4 for 5. They didn't throw it much. Carter averaging more than 10 yards per carry, 7 for 81, but Aquinas not able to crack the scoreboard.
Yeah, that is just not usual for them. And as Coach Weiner here, that was in the booth with us in the second quarter, said, when a team is like that, they go into halftime down in a place that they're very unfamiliar with. The pressure shifts to that team. So these guys wearing the dark navy jerseys, the pressure has shifted to them because they are the perennial favorite, Lakeland the underdog, but they will start with the ball in the second half and see what their offense can do.
Lone loss this season for Aquinas came against Miami Central, 43-27. That was back on September 21st. Roger Harriet told us in preparing for the game this week that his players were adamant they were not going to take another moment for granted. Went into that game a little overconfident. And here they find themselves in a 10-0 hole against undefeated Lakeland. Owen Thanner's kickoff down at the 11-yard line. Jordan Battle on the return. Upended at the 30. Aquinas lost in the state semifinals a year ago to Venice, the eventual state champ. They won titles in 14, 15, and 16. And as you can see, in 15 and 16, won by a running clock margin, 35+ points. But tonight they find themselves engaged in a defensive struggle. Senior quarterback Kurt Castile handing off to Daniel Carter, who drags a defender downfield. That was Khalil Crawford that went for a ride on Carter's 8-yard gain.
Carter had one big carry, but he also had just a very solid first half, over 11 yards to carry. Both running backs, in fact, over 11 yards per carry, which you wouldn't think in a championship game, but they're doing it.
Xavier Restrepo couldn't keep his feet as he crosses midfield. Good start to the third quarter for the Raiders.
Those are the tackles I was just talking about a minute ago. They get the ball outside. They're inside stack to try to stop that run, which is very difficult to stop. But if they get the ball outside, they don't have the numbers outside. They're going to have to tackle well.
Castile takes off, ball's loose. And it's recovered by Lakeland. Quarterback Kurt Castile fumbles trying to run downfield, and the Dreadnaughts pounce on it.
Missed field goals, and now a fumble to open up the second half. Put it into his left hand and got it popped right out of there.
Yeah, Castile was trying to change hands with the ball, and as he was exchanging, it came out. First turnover of the game forced by this Lakeland defense. What would a score here due to the psyche of this heavily favored Raiders team? Bowman, he puts the ball on the ground at the 32, and Aquinas has it. Anthony Solomon with the recovery for the Raiders.
Just what the Raiders needed to, if the Dreadnaughts are able to think, you know what, all we did was just give it right back to them. It's no big deal, but a really big deal for Aquinas.
Dante Lunan was the player that forced the fumble, and it was Jason Munoz, a Miami commit, that recovered it. Turnovers on back-to-back plays. Aquinas offense back out there right where they gave it up. Castile surveys and throws complete. Restrepo with a catch and run down to the 15. A 17-yard gain by Aquinas.
And Restrepo's been the guy to go to. A lot of space out there. Castile makes a nice throw to the curl route. It's wide open, and then look at the space to run after the catch. That's what Lakeland's going to have to be careful of. If Aquinas has decided they're going to throw their way back into this football game.
Twice the Raiders have been down here. 2 missed field goals, all they have to show for it. On a blitz, Castile able to get away. Inside the 5, Castile with a touchdown. First rushing touchdown of the season for Kurt Castile.
Well, good for him to be able to have the turnover this time. Watch him put 2 hands on the ball momentarily. Look at that, 2 hands as he goes into the end zone. And what a turnover, 2 turnovers in a row. And Aquinas gets on the board.
Player that Roger Harriet called the epitome of resilience. turns it over, and then gets it right back with that 15-yard touchdown scamper to make it 10-7.
Well, Coach Harriet must have given a pretty good halftime speech, because they came out and just moved the ball with ease down the field. But much more through the air, Austin. A very different game plan in the second half. It did expose the secondary there for Lakeland.
So the Raiders come out of the locker room. After fumbling on their initial drive, the defense gets a takeaway. Castillo, the 15-yard touchdown run, and 90 seconds into the third quarter, it's a 3-point game. Lupo to kick it away for the Raiders. Graham and Howard back deep for Lakeland. This is going to be Graham. He's had some big returns this year on kickoffs.
He's got a big one right now.
Out beyond the 40. Finley Graham. A 99-yard kick return touchdown for Lakeland.
Finley Graham.
You like that answer? They're going to get 15 yards on the next kickoff, but oh my goodness, I mean, they just collapsed it. All clean blocks, it looks like. There were no flags, so it's a touchdown, but just trying to take a look at some of the blocks, everything looks pretty clean. What an answer to that touchdown by Aquinas.
Able to high-five Chris Howard on his way into the end zone. Struck a Heisman pose after he got to pay dirt. And that drew a 15-yard
play
penalty.
is a touchdown. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct by the receiving team.
And you know what? 15 yards on the kickoff is a big penalty. It was fun while it lasted. It looked great, but that 15 yards is going to be costly.
Roger Harriet talking to the officials. He's trying to plead the case that the penalty occurred outside the end zone.
It did. The high
That
five.
penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
I don't think the high five is what drew the penalty.
No, it didn't. It did not. But it could have. It could have. But you know what? Even still, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have taken the touchdown off the board if that was the case.
So Hohenthaler on for the PAT. He drives it through. One more look at the 99-yard kickoff return by Finley Graham. It matches the longest in state championship history.
And this is his third of his career. The one he'll never forget. You know, that's what Chris Rainey used to look a lot like, running downfield on kickoff returns as well. A lot of credit to his linemen, though, coming around there. They really cleaned it up. There was a lot of space from early on. Aquinas was not disciplined coming down the field.
I think Chris Howard, who was running with him most of the way, might have gone that entire length of the field without having someone to block.
Is it not a terrible thing that a high school kid is not allowed to do that in the end zone after a 99-yard touchdown without being penalized?
I'm with you. I just don't think that type of celebration should warrant a 15-yard penalty.
I agree.
But nonetheless, flag came out. So instead of kicking off from the 40, Hohenthaler will kick off from the 25. How about the fireworks so far here in the third quarter? 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, and we're less than 2 minutes in. Brian Bruton on the return for Aquinas. It's knocked down at the 40. Lakeland with a perfect regular season. Here's a look at how all of those have panned out. This is their 7th state championship game appearance when going perfect. Won it 5 times. Runner-up to Aquinas back in 08. And a handful of regional losses as well. Bill Castle, the man who has guided the Dreadnaughts to all 6 of their state championships. FHSAA Hall of Famer. He was named the Coach of the Century for football back in 2007. Castile steps away from the pressure and slings it incomplete into the Lakeland bench.
Well, we now are assured that there was a halftime switch of game plan. We are abandoning what we did in the first half, and we are going to a pass-based offense, because Castile has only thrown 16 passes as the most in a game. He doesn't throw the ball a lot. This team doesn't need to throw the ball a lot. He doesn't usually need to play in the third, probably after halftime very often, but they are throwing the ball.
Now, this team was forced to throw it in that loss against Miami Central. There's a flip out to Daniel Carter, flag down near the area of a block as Carter goes out of bounds after a gain of 5.
You know, Coach Wiener was up here and he was explaining what Lakeland would do to the short side of the field and to the single receiver, or to the no receiver, and that's just what they did. They ran the option away from all 3 receivers.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
Take a look at number 74. No, I mean, the flag, I'm not sure.
I think it might have been on Freeman, the receiver.
That's what I thought it
based on where they've spotted it. So 10-yard penalty. It would have been 3rd and 5. Instead, it's 2nd and 15. Castile gets it into the hands of Restrepo. Out to the perimeter. He steps out of bounds at the 45. So we're in virtually the same spot we would have been in before the penalty. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Restrepo. That's been a nice conversation with Khalil Crawford.
That's been their most successful. I thought Marcus Rosemy, number 81, could have easily been called for a penalty for holding. As watch Restrepo come over here. Look at that right there. That is holding. He even pushes him away and pulls him back towards himself. Saw it from the long distance, thought the referees were going to call it.
Here comes 3rd down and 5 for Castile and the Aquinas offense, putting a lot of trust in their senior quarterback so far here in the 3rd quarter. Lakeland brings pressure, and the ball is caught right at the 1st down marker. It's going to be enough. Freeman with a sure-handed catch. I wasn't so certain he was going to haul it in.
Great reaction by Tayshawn Nixon, the senior cornerback.
Aquinas working quickly. Castile underneath. Catch and run by Rosemy. One of the top juniors in the country takes it down to the 5-yard line.
Little mix-up in coverage. Both the corner and the safety went deep, and just a slant underneath. There is nobody, I mean, miles away from Rosemy. And then in the open field, a tough one to take down. You see the good stiff arm. Graham almost got the fumble.
Carter stretching for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Aquinas.
You know, that's the thing. When you start spreading the defense out by slinging it out quickly outside, all of a sudden there are going to be holes inside. And Daniel Carter and Nigel White are going to find a lot of space inside as well.
Aquinas shut out in the 1st half. They've scored 14 points here in the 3rd quarter. Not yet 3 minutes have come off the clock. That's McConnell that came in to kick the PAT. He drives it through. 9:18 to go in the 3rd, and it's a 3-point margin once again.
Just a lot of tight inside blocking, and comes off the left side of the line. Very impressive. You said it, not even 3 minutes off the clock, and they've already scored twice, but they're doing it through the air, and then they hit it back on the short yardage with the touchdown. Lakeland has run one offensive play here in the second half, and it was a fumble by Bowman, so we don't even know what their offense looks like here in the second half, but we know that Aquinas has changed their offense dramatically.
So much has happened so far in the third quarter. Can't believe that we're still 9:18 left in the period. If the clock hasn't run at all with these big plays. Graham and Howard close together on this return. Be trying to disguise where they'll be for Logan Lupo. Love to put this thing in the end zone. Instead, he kicks it out of bounds.
Guaranteed to not be returned for a touchdown, but you give him good field position.
Now, coming into the game, I thought special teams would be an area where Aquinas had an advantage. That has not been the case at all.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
You've got the kick return touchdown for Lakeland, the solid kick by Hohenthaner for the field goal. Aquinas has missed 2 field goals and given up that return. The Dreadnaughts will start this possession from the 35. As Jeff mentioned, just one offensive play so far in the second half, and it was a turnover. Bowman gets it back. Breaks it to the outside. First down and more. Leaps over a defender into Raiders territory.
Penalty's going to come in late and probably push the ball 15 yards back, unsportsmanlike. We'll see what the call is, but it was way after the play, and it may just be on Bowman for kind of standing there. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see if we see somebody do something specific over here. Bowman got up and just took his mouthpiece out, but that's not taunting, so I don't know what the call is.
This is a Central Florida Officials Association crew. A home game for these guys. Bill Castle seeking an explanation. Bowman's going to get called for leaping a defender.
Oh, that's true. That is a high school rule.
Personal foul. Hurdling offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
I understand the safety part of this rule, but what is Bowman supposed to do when the defender goes at his legs?
He's supposed to match him down or run out of bounds, I guess. Those, I mean, that is highlighted, and you know, Saquon Barkley for the New York Giants has got highlight after highlight of jumping over people, but at the high school level, you're not allowed to hit people in the knees, and you're not allowed to jump over them if you're a running back.
I mean, to me, asking Bowman to lower his head and try to get lower than that defender in order to keep his feet is creating potentially more harm than creating a penalty for Bowman jumping over the guy.
Or try to avoid the hit at all. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I guess they don't want even, you know, sometimes the defender takes the worst of that. They'll take a knee in the head. Yeah. But it is a rule that they got to live with.
6 at the line of scrimmage, and Bowman has nowhere to go. Combination of Jason Munoz and Dante Lunan. Munoz is the player who recovered the fumble that led to the first Aquinas touchdown.
The only good news was it was 1st and 5. So 2nd and 5 isn't too bad of a situation for the offense either.
See the numbers on Bowman, averaging more than 10 yards per carry, but 80 of that came on one play. McWilliams with a play fake. Under heavy pressure, throws it to an offensive lineman. The flag's going to come in because he's not an eligible receiver, and this is going to be a huge loss for Lakeland. Willie Lampkin, 280-pound junior left guard, is not who Bill Castle wants McWilliams to target.
You know what, though? I actually think it was him last year. They were playing Eastlake at home, And the receiver fumbled the ball backwards about 35 yards and threw a ball to their left guard, who carried it 35 yards, and the referees let it stand. So maybe you think you could do that.
Illegal touching. Offense. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul and a loss of down. Third down.
After the long run by Bowman, Lakeland was in Aquinas territory just shy of the 40-yard line. You have the 15-yard penalty, a huge negative play. Now tack on 5 more, and the ball's all the way back at the 20.
Yeah, how beautiful was that Bowman run? And only seconds ago, it was so great, and Lakeland had some momentum going on offense, and now they're just hoping to be able to punt the ball away, and Aquinas not get it back and run right back to their offense and get it going again.
3rd and 25. Aquinas crowds the box. McWilliams will try to scramble. Now he heaves it downfield. Wide open man. Howard has it inside the 20 to the Aquinas 15.
I've got to say, that's one of the more impressive pass plays I've seen by a quarterback. I mean, he was moving, he was going to run. He realized he saw his receiver out there, and running to his left unleashes a beautiful pass right in stride as well.
68-yard gain. 1st and 10 at the Aquinas 12.
A 68-yard connection between McWilliams and Howard.
I guess that's what the doctor ordered for Lakeland. Wow, what a terrible situation they put themselves in, and they get right out of it, put the ball at the 12-yard line.
McWilliams put it right on the money. Bowman not able to escape the grasp of Munoz, who's emerging as a star on this Aquinas defense. Not a starter, but a top 60 defensive end in the nation in this senior class, and a Miami commit.
Well, when they're in the I formation, Aquinas has been able to defend that very well. They've thrown out of it, I think, 100% of the time. I mean, run out of it 100% of the time. I'm not certain of that stat, but Aquinas defended it very well.
Quick throw out to Howard. Picked up a block from Graham and got down inside the 10.
Well, I'm used to the yellow flags popping out on those plays as the receivers try to hold their blocks.
Deshaun Graham made a nice block on the perimeter. Player who's coming back from a broken hand, suffered on a block punt against Apopka way back in early September.
Lakeland's been successful on 4 of 8 of their 3rd downs so far tonight. There's that same I formation at 6 yards away.
McWilliams with a play fake. Zipperer has it go off his helmet and out of bounds. It was a walk-in touchdown if he could catch it.
This just got on him too quick. It's a beautiful play call and execution right on the money. Hands just got up late. Hands just weren't up for the football.
And McWilliams coming into the game had only thrown 88 passes. That works out to about 6 per game. But he has been accurate when asked to throw it tonight. Hohenthaler hit his first attempt from 38 yards. This one considerably shorter, 25. And 2 for 2 is Jace Hohenthaler. And Lakeland back up by 6, 20-14 near the midway point of the 3rd quarter.
Can they slow Aquinas' offense, though? Right now there's been wide open spaces. Xavier Restrepo has been the guy, right, number 21, but then all of a sudden they throw the slant underneath, and Rosemead's wide open, so there's been a lot of space in the secondary. We'll see on 1st down if Lakeland sets up to defend the pass better, but then start leaving the run game back open for Carter and White.
Lakeland trying to win their first state championship since 2006. Double overtime win against St. Thomas Aquinas that year.
Timeout. Officials timeout.
Raiders looking for their 11th state championship and 4th in the last 5 years. 10-0, Lakeland led at the half. Aquinas has scored twice here in the third quarter. Lakeland has a kick return touchdown, and most recently the 25-yard field goal by Hohenthaner. Now these teams meeting tonight in a championship game for the 6th time. That is the most in FHSAA history. Amazing to think about how often these programs have been against one another on this stage.
Absolutely, and they're giving us a show tonight. This is fantastic because we're used to watching Aquinas run away with it. You said it, a running clock in most of them. This is absolutely the top of football in the state of Florida.
12 of 14 wins this year by Aquinas led to a running clock. A couple of their recent state championship wins also by running clock. But they are engaged in a battle right now with undefeated Lakeland. Hohenthaner's kickoff just shy of the end zone. Bruton does not reach the 15. Great coverage downfield by the Dreadnaughts.
Yeah, they had 3 or 4 guys that could have made that tackle right there.
That's to Sean Rodman.
We're seeing the highlight of the runner, but look at that group of white shirts. That's a lot of guys around the tackle on a kickoff.
Well, Bill Castle coming in was really concerned about whether his guys could physically match up and whether they could keep the chains moving. His players have answered both of those questions with a resounding yes. Castile puts the ball on the ground and Lakeland recovers. That's Latrell Jean that jumps on the football after a mishandled exchange between Castile and Carter.
They've been throwing the ball so much they went with the fake pass outside and come back with the draw inside, but the ball's late coming back on the fake. Hits him a little high up in the chest. His hand, it didn't look like his hands were ready to take the carry either. And here's Lakeland ready now. They have an opportunity to really put themselves in a special situation.
Latrell Jean, the leader of the team, according to Coach Bill Castle, alertly jumps on that football, and the Dreadnaughts right back in scoring position. They mark the ball at the 12. It's Bowman. And taken down immediately.
Once again, the I formation straight runs are not good for Lakeland, and they've really given away their first downs. Austin, is that they're just giving them away. They're losing yards on first down because they're going out of the I and just running a stretch type play, and Aquinas is ready for it every time. They need to run that play action on their first down out of I. It'll be wide open again to Zipperer, and I'm sure he won't let another one go through his hands.
An anchor on that turnover chain for Latrell Jean. Can the offense turn it into points? Option, McWilliams keeps it, breaks through a tackle, and he's down to the 7. Escaped Bobby Washington and then got banged down by Davis.
Looked really good, like he was going to get out of it. Got to be really careful with this football. Let's see if it's away from his body. It looked like it was twice. Right there. And again, as he's going down, if he would have lost that ball going down, it would have been a fumble. He's got to be very careful. Put that ball away a little tighter.
3rd down and 5 with the ball resting on the 7-yard line. And Bill Castle's come up with some good play calls down here in the red zone. Had Zipperer open last time, and he gets Aquinas to jump. Well, both sides pointing at the other.
Well, that's
I think it was Washington.
Prior to the snap, offside, defense, half the distance to the goal, still 3rd down.
Anybody could flinch, I guess, but we saw 3 defenders jump across the ball.
Washington's had a really good game at defensive tackle. The most lightly recruited of the starters on this Aquinas defense, but ultra productive and just a junior. So from 3rd and 5, it becomes 3rd and 2. Bowman once again leaning forward at the snap, was able to maintain his position. The whistle stop as Bowman keeps driving. He ends up in the end zone. They'll mark him down at the 1.
I think he got inside the 1 there. Let's take a look from ground level. Just look at the power of this kid, pushing guys backwards, moving the pile by himself, really. Khalil Crawford tries to give him a little help.
So they put the ball down at the 1, and this all season has been where Lakeland has relied on Jahari Martin, the starting linebacker. He's got 28 carries so far this season for 16 touchdowns.
You know, as we watch that on replay, they did not give him a very good spot.
Martin lines up at fullback, and there's touchdown number 17. The Dreadnaughts cash in the fumble recovery with a touchdown.
Give it to the up back this time. Gets into the end zone quickly. You know, as he just folded his arms, I was afraid he might get a penalty.
That's now 8 consecutive games with a touchdown for Jahari Martin. Defensive end the last couple of years at Lake Gibson, came over to Lakeland, starting at linebacker, leading tackler on that defense, and he's been a big contributor on offense. Botched PAT, Howard running around and looking for somewhere to go. Ball still loose and finally covered up at the 27-yard line.
I thought they couldn't return botched punts. Like, I thought they couldn't return those for points.
Cannot score 2 points in high school.
Extra point is no good.
Defense.
Well, that referee right there should have blown the whistle 5 minutes before that so that nobody got hurt. Good finish for Lakeland. They've really impressed me tonight, just overall, both sides of the ball. We saw the special teams as well, as you mentioned. I mean, they've really put it together tonight to build a 12-point lead.
We've talked at length about the amount of high-profile recruits on the Aquinas roster. Lakeland certainly has its share of blue chippers. Zipperer, ranked as the 4th best senior tight end in the country, offers from Miami, Florida, Bama. Those are regarded as the leaders. And then you've got Davey Hammond, Lloyd Summerall, lanky defensive end, 6'7", 210 pounds. And the 2 interior linemen, Huntley and Jean, the 3 of their best 4 recruits on that intimidating defensive line. Bruton from the 5. I got ahead of steam. Good return after the 35 for Brian Bruton. But Aquinas comes back onto the field, trailing by 12. Largest deficit of the night for the Raiders.
Got an injured Dreadnought on the field down at the 23.
Officials timeout.
That's Jalen Taylor. So he'll be able to get to the sideline under his own power, but in a lot of pain. Aquinas fumbled on its last offensive play. Mishandled exchange between Castile and the running back Daniel Carter. Option and the pitch to Carter. Excellent tackle. That's Tony Ware, the senior safety.
Surprised to see them pull that out right now. I mean, they did run it. We did see them run it to the top of the screen not long ago. But they were so successful throwing the ball. They tried the fake and draw play that they fumbled on. Now the option, when they had so much success just getting rid of the ball outside.
Castile, clean pocket, and a strong delivery to Rosemead. Second big catch tonight for junior Marcus Rosemead.
That looks like the road to success for the guys in the golden helmets throwing the football right now.
25 yards on that completion. Rosemy with a strong hands to go up and secure it. Carter looking for space. Flag thrown in as he is driven down by Hampton.
And if they get a hold, which it probably is, this will be probably the third time that they've gotten pushed back on holds, and that's really derailed their offense tonight.
Holding, offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Right there, you see the hand up in the face.
It's Antonio Serrano.
Might have had a couple guys.
Moves the ball back to midfield as we come up on 3 minutes to go here in the third. Castile escapes. He's shown his running ability already tonight. Slides down at the 38-yard line. 12-yard run by Castile. He's got a rushing touchdown tonight.
He's really had a lot of space. They're like playing man-to-man. That the linebackers are completely gone when he's taking the ball off, and a lot of space for him to run. I'm glad a yellow flag did not come out on that one as he slid down.
Castile again forced to run. Good pursuit. Castile takes a shot from Graham, the player who has the kick return touchdown for Lakeland.
Stop by number 1, Bentley Graham.
He's a brave man here.
Gain of 5. Third and 3.
Aquinas back on the ball for 3rd down and 3. Castile running again, and it looks like that extra surge at the end as he was going down is going to be enough to move the chains.
Yeah, he definitely got it. Did not think Castile was going to be the star of the game, but this guy's putting his team on his shoulders, both running and passing. Here, picking up a very critical first down.
Castile now with 60 yards on the ground on 9 carries. Well protected that time as he goes to the end zone, and it's incomplete, nearly intercepted by Ware.
Should have been intercepted by Tony Ware, the senior. He thought about it. Castile looked at it. He thought about it. He threw it short. It was not. He was covered already. I don't think he should have thrown it in anyway, but he throws it short, and Ware really should have intercepted this ball. You got to actually credit Freeman for playing defense on that play.
Carter not seeing nearly as much action as we're used to. Castile steps in front, throws complete. Rosemy broken tackle. Ball punched free, and it pops out of bounds at the 12. Quadir Hall behind the play, punched it away from Rosemy. Fortunately for Aquinas, it rolled out of bounds.
The previous couple of 3 catches by Rosemy, I thought were going to actually get knocked out.
Officials,
this one
timeout.
gets punched out but goes right out of bounds. Great job by Hall coming up from behind.
Jalen Taylor is being helped to the sideline. Taylor was hurt on the kickoff return, somehow managed to avoid being looked at by the trainers, and then they sent him back out there. He was clearly in a lot of pain, and he's got a problem with that left shoulder. And the training staff now tending to him. I beg your pardon, his right shoulder.
I didn't want to correct you on that one. I thought, you know what, I bet he knows that.
Aquinas to that full house backfield. You know, Carter, since getting banged down on that option run, hasn't looked nearly as aggressive when he's carried it.
I was going to talk about the fact that right when they got into this red zone area, they went into that full house backfield before as well. I'm not sure how successful it was for them, and I'm not sure why they want to do it.
Jaden Henry is the third back lined up behind Castile. 2nd down and 9. They'll give it to Henry. Lakeland did a great job against that. The 2 linebackers, Crawford and Martin.
Yeah, Lakeland practices against option, against themselves, you know. They're pretty good at it.
Final seconds of the 3rd quarter ticking down. Aquinas is not going to get a play off before the end of the period.
And so they go conservative on 1st and 2nd down to put themselves in 3rd down and go back to their bread and butter, which has been so good the entire quarter.
12 minutes remain in the 7A championship game. And St. Thomas Aquinas, ranked in the top 10 in the country, is on the ropes, trailing Lakeland 26-14 here at Camping World Stadium. We'll be back for the 4th right after this.
At the 10.
4th quarter starts with 3rd down and 8 for Aquinas, and Lakeland was not lined up properly. They didn't have enough guys on the field. They had to spend a timeout. So an inauspicious beginning to this 4th quarter for the Dreadnaughts. This defense has been dominating throughout the year. Bill Castle saying that, look, these guys have been who we've been riding all year, along with Bowman, stopping opponents, giving defense good field position. How about the tackle for loss numbers, especially from these defensive linemen? Constant penetration on the opposing backfield.
I'll tell you what, Lakeland forever, for how many great teams they've had, they've always had undersized defensive linemen, but they're so quick that they're just around guys so fast and into the backfield that they make tackles for losses. I mean, it's just every play for them in the regular season. But they're just always small, but they're just so quick.
Now the first play of the 4th quarter. It's a big one. 3rd down and 8 for Castile and the Raiders. Castile hit by Zipperer, and he's sacked. Zipperer doesn't see a lot of time at defensive line, but they bring him in obvious passing situations, and he comes through with a huge play for the Dreadnaughts.
They needed it now, and Castile has been able to slip right through there and find big space. You see there was a lot of green in front of Castile, so Zipperer makes a heck of a play.
And Aquinas, trailing by 12, is going to go for it on 4th down. Play fake by Castile, stumbled coming out of his break. He wants Carter on a screen, and he drops it. Lakeland turns away Aquinas. 3rd time tonight the Raiders have been inside the 20-yard line and not scored.
It's going to be hard to beat Lakeland, no matter who you are, I guess, especially on that when you don't make the plays that are right there in front of you. Lakeland dodges the bullet, because that was a very good drive for Aquinas. But I'll tell you what, when Zipperer scored that touchdown that got called back for 6 men on the line, I thought Aquinas got away with a bad formation just there. Should have been a 5-yard penalty anyway, but they dropped the ball, not able to convert.
McWilliams, Bowman stumbling forward. Give him a gain of 3. Bowman tonight, 17 carries, 139 yards, and that 80-yard touchdown.
Timeout. Officials timeout.
Lakeland player down is Alik St. Aim, senior left tackle, second-year starter. Mentioned this earlier, Bill Castle now 43 years as the Lakeland head coach, but he never applied for the position. Some of the Lakeland boosters came to his house. They said, would you accept the job if it was offered? He said yes. The very next day, Lakeland's principal walked up to him and congratulated him on being the new head coach.
It's a good way to get a job.
Always says he's not sure when he wants to retire, but his passion these days, in addition to football, is with his 2 Jack Russell Terriers, Callie and Crockett. Races them as part of the Sunshine Jack Russell Terrier Club. And Crockett just recently won a national championship. Talked to Bill Castle on the field about that before the game, and he gets really excited when he gets the chance to talk about his Jack Russell Terriers.
Well, he wouldn't have anything other than a national champion.
That's right. He's told us when he retires, he'll focus all of his attention on trying to have Jack Russells that are faster than anybody.
He just tells us that to keep us quiet from asking more questions. He's never going to retire.
Bowman, nice shake, gets up near the first down, about a yard shy. I'd like to see a race between Crockett and DeMarcus Bowman. Castle swears that Crockett will beat anyone on this Lakeland roster.
I don't even think it would be a race. Those dogs are so fast. Big third down. They've been successful on third downs for the most part tonight.
They bring in their short yardage specialist, Jahari Martin. He's lined up at fullback. They'll go with Bowman, and he'll have the first down and then some. Out to the 33. 10 yards on 3rd and 1 for DeMarcus Bowman.
It is tough. Quick to the line of scrimmage and tough to bring down. He gets downhill quickly. Good space, good blocking up front. Got to give those Dreadnought linemen some love.
Bowman's got it again. And starting to wear out this Aquinas defense. Looking like Derrick Henry stiff-arming defenders as he rolls into Aquinas territory.
Wow, more impressed with him every time I see him touch the ball. Just tough running. They tried to tackle the football, and Bowman will get out of those regularly.
24 yards on that run. And Davey Hammond among those paving the way for Bowman. Here's Jahari Martin getting a shot to take on this Aquinas defense. And this is a group that prides itself on stopping the run. They're so good up front. And right now, Lakeland is imposing their will.
You know what? They were actually running the ball quite well in the first half before they ran out of, if they're getting tired and worn down a little bit. Lakeland was running the ball pretty darn well in the first half. And you know something, Austin? They aren't running the option, and they're still having success.
St. Thomas.
That's
their first of the half.
That's not good for Aquinas right now, because we were talking about them needing to run the option to be successful, and they weren't as successful out of the I formation, but they are running it down their throats.
5 runs, 54 yards on this drive. Bowman for 10, then 24. Most recently, Jahari Martin for 11. Jason Taylor trying to get that defense coached up.
It's hard. Like, you know, I talked about Lakeland's defensive line being undersized, but their offensive line's always pretty good. And they've got good big guys up there right now. 280, 265, 320. Hammond, as we talked about a second ago. So they're not too small on the offensive line, and they come off hard.
Lakeland trying to get back to the top for the first time since 2006. Aquinas seeking their 4th title in 5 years. Lost to Venice in the state semifinals last year, 27-20. And Roger Harriet said, never forget about those tough losses. Adversity gives you opportunity to get motivated. Martin puts the ball on the ground. There's been no signal yet. Aquinas has it. And Martin inconsolable after the giveaway.
Well, I think that's probably the only thing that was going to slow down Lakeland right now. It's a good stop right at the line of scrimmage. Good penetration, good push. Bowman started the second half with a fumble. Martin puts the ball on the ground now, but they do enjoy a 12-point lead, 9:20 left.
A second turnover for Lakeland. Down goes Castile.
They wanted the pump fake. He was trying to find Rosemy, who's been the big play guy so far in the second half through the air, but just took too time. And he was actually extremely well covered in the backfield.
It was Lloyd Summerall that had the initial pressure. Go back to Carter on the ground. Martin had a hold of Carter's jersey. It did little to disrupt that run.
That's Carter's a big, thick running back.
3rd down and 3, back to Carter. Stood up initially, but he drives forward. A good show of power there by Daniel Carter to give Aquinas a fresh set of downs.
They're getting right back up on the ball quickly. They know they need 2 scores.
Ball pops right off the chest of Rosemy. Accurate throw from Castile, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, he's used to having a lot more space on that slant. Lakeland did a better job both from the corner and the linebacker, squeezed it from the inside and the outside. Maybe just made Rosemy take his eye off the ball.
Lakeland has not trailed in this championship game. Led 10-0 at the half. The 12-point lead is their largest of the game. Castile with an option and a physical tackle made by Quadir Hall as Jamal Cooney was cut down for a loss.
Yeah, I think this is the first time they've shown the option out of this formation, which was like a doubles look. They go backwards, another tackle for loss. We were talking about those earlier. Hall gets one.
Hall had 350 yards rushing as a fullback last year. Wanted to make the switch to defense. Thought his future was more on that side of the ball.
Timeout.
And was convinced
Lakeland.
he could be a great tackler.
Their 2nd of the half.
And he has exhibited that on a couple different occasions here in the second half.
A couple of Lakeland Dreadnaughts skipping off the field, feeling pretty good about themselves with 7:48 left.
Bill Boldini is the Lakeland defensive coordinator. 34 takeaways coming into the championship game for that group. Tack on 2 more tonight. And 64 sacks. They have wreaked havoc on opposing offenses.
Well, like I said, Lakeland knows how to defend the option, and they've done a pretty good job of it of late. Third and 12 coming up.
In motion, Cooney across the formation. Castile had to hold it for a long time. Roseme behind the defense, makes the catch. No, he didn't hang on. Came down on top of a Lakeland player and could not secure the ball all the way to the ground. That is Hall, that is banged up, and so is Roseme.
Yeah, and I can completely understand why both of these guys are still on the ground. I didn't think he was going to throw it, and I didn't think he should have thrown it because I thought the defenders were going to play it a little bit better than they did. Ultimately, they got there. And you can see actually basically his shoulders and helmet went all the way down to the ground as his body was on top of the defender. Take a look one more time. You can see the stumble by Hall. See, if Hall didn't stumble, I think he would have actually gotten back there to make a play on the ball while it was in the air. Roseme did his best to try to hold on to that.
Roseme to his feet. A talented junior receiver. Hall has had a great night in the secondary for Lakeland.
Austin, he just made a huge defensive play on 3rd down and now on 4th down. Excuse me, on 2nd and 3rd down.
Good to see Hall jogging toward the sideline. Roseme got to the sideline on his own, but is now down on his back in the area just outside the edge of the paint. So 7:39 to go, 4th and 12 for Aquinas, and they're going to keep their offense out there.
I don't think they have any choice, do you? Lakeland can run the ball against them.
Castile gonna try to run for it, and he gets dragged down. Offensive line trying to push him forward, but he was well shy of that 1st down. The Lakeland defense comes through yet again.
Yeah, I think he should have tried to buy more time if he could, of any way to come out here to the right instead of going straight up the middle. I don't think he could have had any chance of getting the 1st down. Come out to the right and try to let his receiver still buy some more time and maybe throw for it. Lakeland, what a stand. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th down. Big plays.
Aquinas averages 47.3 points per game. They've scored 27 or more in every game this season, but only 14 so far tonight against this talented defense from Lakeland. The Dreadnaughts looking to run some time off that clock.
The referee should throw the flag on that. You cannot give the defense, especially when the defense is trying to stop the offense desperately. They have 2 or 3 defenders across the line. They should have been throwing a penalty on against Aquinas on that.
Reggie Kellum who got that carry. 1 snap for him at fullback before DeAdrian Ellefson comes back in. Lakeland with 5 on the clock. They're going to have to burn a timeout.
Timeout. Lakeland.
That's the final timeout for the Dreadnaughts with 6:45 to go. The assistant's pointing out where that clock is for Dywanski McWilliams.
Well, you know what, McWilliams, he's had a heck of a night. That throw that he did running to the left, put the ball in stride deep when it was 3rd and a long way to go. Play of the game maybe. But he's had a heck of a night. Running the ball, taking care of the ball. And then some key passes, he's been spot on.
It was 3rd and long, and he found Chris Howard, put it right on the money as he was on the move. Led to a field goal, made it 10-0 at the half. McWilliams hasn't thrown it much. He's only 4 for 7 for 93 yards. But because of the throws he has made, Aquinas has had to respect his ability a little bit.
Well, and just think, they had just gone backwards multiple plays. It looked disastrous for Lakeland, and he pulls that one out.
Bowman runs through a tackle. Inside the 20 and banged down at the 18. A 29-yard run for DeMarcus Bowman. And he is now over 200 on the night.
He runs out of those tackles, but that offensive line gets him past the line of scrimmage before he's touched. Kid is incredibly impressive. He might get 2,500 yards before the night's over for the season, but that offensive line up front's doing a heck of a job.
Bill Castle told me earlier this week, can we physically match up? I'm not sure if we can, but our guys are going to battle. They're ready for the challenge. And they are thriving here in the second half. Physical tackle by Dante Lunan. Bowman pops up.
He's getting to the linebackers past the line of scrimmage before he's being touched. They're moving the ball forward every time.
Bowman tonight, 22 carries, 211 yards, averaging almost 9 yards per carry against this stout Aquinas defense. Clock rapidly becoming a factor with 5.5 to go as the Dreadnaughts moved early.
I think Aquinas is going to look back at this game and
Prior to the snap, offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
if Lakeland goes on to win this game, I think Aquinas is going to go back and look and see that they got way too conservative when they got the ball in the red zone. Remember, we talked about they went to that three-back running back look and did not move the ball from there. They put themselves in 3rd and long and weren't able to convert a couple of times. And they missed those field goals early. Obviously, those ones are, hurt the momentum and all that, but they did have some other chances on offense.
Khalil Crawford, what a burst. Down to the 2, it'll be 1st and goal.
Some really big plays for Crawford on defense earlier in the game, and now adding both blocking and running to the repertoire.
Timeout. Officials timeout.
He was going to get it before the whistles blew that last play dead, and they come right back to him. One of the things Robert Wiener told us down on the field before the game, we were asking him about what it was like to go up against Lakeland a couple of weeks ago, and he said the linebackers were a lot better in person and a lot tougher than they showed on film. And that's pretty easy to believe watching Khalil Crawford, Jahari Martin, and Jay Hampton in person. Those three are impressive, and Martin and Crawford are doing it on the offensive end too.
Oh, absolutely. Stopping Aquinas' run game is hard to do.
Yeah.
Central, he said that Central threw it on him. That's not what they did. They didn't stop the run. Central was successful. Central was successful throwing the ball, but stopping Aquinas on the run game, that hasn't been done. So credit those linebackers and credit the defensive line stopping them up front as well.
Martin scores easily, his 2nd touchdown tonight, and the Dreadnaughts are pouring it on here in the 4th.
You just said it. The linebackers have come in and finished it off on offense.
Number 37, Chase Hohensteiner.
Well, we came onto the air talking about this game as a heavyweight fight, and Jahari Martin may have just delivered the knockout blow.
I think you're right, and linebackers make for good fullbacks.
Extra point, Hohensteiner.
Just look at the build on this guy getting the ball. Who wants to hit that?
32, 33. St. Thomas Aquinas.
That's a full-grown man. Linebackers like to hit people with the football. And who's going to want to hit that guy when he's carrying the football?
Martin now on the year, 32 carries, 18 touchdowns. Pretty nice ratio.
Think he gets it down on the inside pretty often?
So 5:01 to go, 33-14, a 19-point advantage for Lakeland. And I wonder if over there on the sideline, Bill Castle is thinking it all back to 2006. Lakeland was up 35-14 with 2:21 to go. Aquinas scored, recovered 2 onside kicks, scored 3 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes to force the game into overtime.
Yeah, he probably is thinking about that, but you know what? I mean, you got to just credit these guys wearing the white uniforms tonight, because other than those 2 missed field goals, which may have, changed just the overall momentum of this football game, they've done incredibly well. Offense, defense, and special teams. They beat them in all 3 phases.
Bruton up to the 34. Well, it is a big mountain to climb now for St. Thomas Aquinas. Ranked by multiple publications in the top 10 in the country. And Roger Harriet didn't mix words. The expectation at Aquinas is to win championships. And they've gotten here, but Lakeland, the last team to beat the Raiders in a championship game. That was that epic 2006 final. And right now, the Dreadnaughts are on the verge of doing it again. Obvious patching situation for Castile. Jamal Cooney on the catch. Gets 7 up to the 41.
And Rosemead did not make it back out onto the field to start this series. He was the biggest playmaker of the offense so far in the game.
You think back to that play, it was 26-14. If Rosemead was able to hang on, would have been 1st and goal at the 10. This game might look a lot different. Flag down as Castile able to get the 1st down, but this thrown in the area of holding.
Yeah, the holding. I thought the Dreadnaughts lined up off sides.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, tacked on to the end of the run. Result is a 1st down.
That was a Lakeland player that got in there, Lloyd Summerall, and grabbed the face mask of Castile. So the Raiders in Lakeland territory, clock ticking down with 4:15 to go. Castile well protected. Nice catch made on the low throw by Restrepo.
Just a 10-yard curl route, run down and I'll find you. Looks right at him the whole way, but look, Lakeland's going to play back. They've got the lead. They're going to play back, and they're going to give up those 10-yard plays and just let the clock run down.
Castile under pressure as he dumps it off. Nigel White with his 2nd catch of the year, and he is belted.
I'm not, if Crawford ran around 2 offensive line, it looked beautiful. This is set up. This screen was set up perfectly. It was beautiful. 2 offensive linemen out there, and I guess it was Crawford. Somebody ran right around them. Let's take a look. Watch these 2 offensive linemen come out here. Look at this. Come in behind that. No, it's 15. That's who it was. Tony Ware with the big hit.
Size of the offensive lineman could not match the speed of Ware.
But White needed to cut up inside of that.
Pressure off the edge. Castile going down. That's A.J. Thomas. His 18th sack of the year.
I thought Thomas was going to cause a fumble right there. Castile did a great job holding on to the ball. If we have time to see that again, boy. Don't have time for it yet, but wow.
On 3rd down and 9, Castile finds Restrepo, and he will have the 1st down. Good work after the catch by Restrepo.
Restrepo quietly becoming the player of the game for the Aquinas offense. got more than a handful of catches now.
Restrepo again makes a nice play to go down and get it, but these short throws inbounds are taking a lot of time off the clock. Now down under 2.5 to go.
I think that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage.
Already 2.5 minutes off the clock on this drive for Aquinas. Castile, nice pocket, and it's dropped in the end zone by Cooney.
Castile's pass intended for Jamal Cooney, incomplete.
Perfect throw, right on the money. Just can't catch it on the first time.
Third and 7.
A little bit like Zipper earlier in the game. Needed to put that score on the board to get them a chance to get one of their 2 onside kicks that they need, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've thrown to the trip side almost always, need to go to the top side. There
Against the blitz, Castile firing, complete, touchdown, Theandris Freeman.
Found the right guy. They had been using a safety just to be in the area of the single receiver to the other side. This time the safety was far enough away that was absolutely the right guy to go to, and it ends in a score.
Aquinas is going to go for 2 to try to cut the deficit to 11. Freeman's been good in the postseason. That was his 4th touchdown catch. 3 of them have come in the playoffs.
They have no timeouts to take. Clock's already down to 12. They just need to line up at. I'm sorry, Aquinas has got 2. Lakeland's already taken all 3 of theirs.
Nigel White late coming onto the field. The play clock is down to 2. They just barely get it off. Castile flipping it in, incomplete. And multiple flags come in.
Wow.
Be face guarding against Nixon.
I need to see that one again from the distance. It didn't even look like it was contested. It looked like the throw was so far behind him. The nice slant for the touchdown.
Pass interference. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Retry the try.
Well, I'm surprised they didn't take a timeout before that two-point conversion, just because it's so critical of getting those points, but they were able to get it off and get another shot at it here. I do want to see that again if we could.
Castile again going to try to throw for it, and he has Restrepo. A sharp throw and a good catch by the junior wideout.
I believe this penalty came out right as the ball was snapped, and it looked, the side judge was saying like incomplete pass. So I think it's going to go against Aquinas.
Illegal formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
Now they'll do it from what, the 6? About the 6-yard line.
So Aquinas still going to go for 2. The hope is here that you can make it an 11-point game. That would be a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal
to tie.
If you make the extra point here, you would need 2 touchdowns. That would then win you the game.
All 3 of these last plays are untimed downs, as they're the extra point we've been working on for a while.
Restrepo is the lone receiver split out in the formation. And an extra offensive lineman in there. Castile has the ball knocked down as it comes out of his hands. So the conversion fails. It stays 33-20. And now the teams will talk to their respective special teams units. For Aquinas, it's going to be the kick team. And for Lakeland, the hands team has to secure this onside kick.
Yeah, I got to say, I really hate that 2-point conversion play, especially it's 3rd and 7, third and goal from the 7 for the play. and they go with a single receiver and 3 backs in the backfield. None of the backs can help you do anything from the 6 or 7 yard line, and they throw to a single receiver twice. It almost worked once, but the next time it gets knocked down. I just don't like that formation when you're in longer yardage. That's a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. He gets hit right on the elbow, but you have a single receiver route. It's one player route. I just don't like it from that distance. If you're at the 1 or 2 yard line, I can see it, but not the distances that Aquinas has used it tonight.
When you're cold, you're willing to do just about anything to stay warm, including wearing that interesting print. Straight from the Jeff Carlson collection.
I gave that to him last year. I didn't know if he was going to need it for this year.
Well, here comes the all-important onside kick attempt for Aquinas. It'll be off the foot of Logan Lupo. Goes to the left, got a high bounce, and Aquinas recovers. Let the flashbacks to 2006 begin.
Well, yes, because they weren't anywhere nearly prepared to defend this. This ball gets out to the sideline like you would expect it to. There should be somebody. He came up a little too early, but you would think that they would get to that ball quicker, because 90% of the time that is the onside kick.
Jordan Battle was the player that ran it down for Aquinas and just barely stayed in bounds. Good footwork along that far sideline for Battle. And so still life for Aquinas.
West, number 6 for Lakeland. He misjudged the bounce and came forward on it, and then it went over his head, and that's why it looked like there was so much space over there.
It was a flag down. It was thrown well after the play. Aquinas offense was out there, and suddenly a flag was dropped.
Yeah, I don't think I was looking at the field. It was so late. Could be a sideline warning.
Or is it possible that Battle stepped out of bounds before the recovery?
And Lakeland starting to jump up and down, and that's probably exactly the call. Usually the ref throws his hat when he sees something like that. I don't think any of us saw that happen.
Now we credited Battle for staying in bounds. One more look at it. I don't know. It looked like he got 2 feet in bounds and recovered the ball before that other foot stepped out.
So I'm going to disagree. I'm thinking he did not have the ball. On those first 2 steps, he did not have the ball. And on that last step, he touched his foot out of bounds. The referees have to do this in real-time action. They don't get the benefit of this. But watch, when does he get the football?
So he's got it
right
there, and he gets 1-2 feet in bounds before he steps out.
Well, does the left heel, if the left heel is out of bounds, then they didn't credit him with possession beforehand. I can see that. I think that left heel hit out of bounds, and you just didn't give him that instantaneous possession.
Roger Harriet is getting an explanation that he's not going to like.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. By rule, that ball will be possessed by the receiving team 5 yards from the spot it went out of bounds. First down.
So that's it.
So the official on that sideline was convinced that his heel was out of bounds when he caught the ball. If you're out of bounds when you touch it, then the kick is out of bounds. So Aquinas now 2 timeouts and 1:54 to go. If they stop Lakeland on downs, they could get the ball back with about a minute to go.
Well, the crowd is watching the broadcast on the big screen, and you know what, they saw what we saw. I think if you're willing to look at it without being on either side, I think his heel was out of bounds. I think hey, you know what? The referees know me, and they know how critical I am of them. They had to see this in real time, and I think they got it right.
So it's a first down for Lakeland with the ball at the 39. And not over just yet unless Lakeland can get a first down. Jahari Martin goes out of bounds.
That should be a 15-yard penalty right there for a horse collar. tackled directly from behind.
I'll show you one more look at Battle. Whether this will be any more definitive. He's got it there, and he has, it's just hard to tell.
Yeah, either one, whether it's the right heel or the left heel.
I don't think his heel touches the ground on his right foot, but it's very close.
But
to be sure, it's very close.
You're giving him that possession as that heel's hitting. You're giving him possession before the left heel hits.
I'm saying the heel doesn't hit. I think he kept his heel. I think he kept the
Both
right
heels.
heel up.
Well, the right heel doesn't matter. We're worried about the left heel, which hit the ground.
McWilliams fumbles. I think he was able to get back on top of it. It's about the only thing that can go wrong right now for Lakeland.
You know, that's about the only thing that could go wrong for Lakeland for the last quarter and a half almost. Yeah. Is them putting the ball on the ground, which
it's going to be third down. I'm not sure why Aquinas waited so long to call a timeout. But 15 seconds ran off the clock. And McWilliams is in some pain. He hurt his hand.
St. Thomas, their second of the half.
May have dislocated a finger. I actually have some bent fingers from trying to recover a fumble down low just like that.
So it's third down and 1. If Lakeland converts, the game's over. If Aquinas gets a stop, they'll be able to call a timeout. Lakeland will have to punt, and they have a chance to get the ball back. Still obviously in need of a miracle. You'd need 2 scores in a minute.
He's not coming back out for the fourth down.
So who takes the snap here for Lakeland? And they're going to entrust it to the backup quarterback, Mason Martin, just a freshman. About this moment. 3rd and 1. Martin hands off, and that's going to be enough for a first down. Jahari Martin seals it for Lakeland. Well, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts are going to win their 7th state championship. And a huge upset. Make no mistake, even though Lakeland entered this game undefeated, a lot of people didn't give the Dreadnaughts much of a chance against this powerhouse from Aquinas with high major college prospects at every position.
Well, they earned it. They earned their title.
And good to see McWilliams back out there. He'll take the last couple of snaps, as he deserves to do. Probably have to snap it one more time. Bill Castle wants to make sure that nothing happens on this last snap. And what a moment for those players.
The referee's not even going to set it, I don't think, until it's under, so I don't think he's going to make him snap it anymore. No, he's not. Look, he just wasted about 15 seconds.
Let the celebration begin for the Lakeland Dreadnaughts.
Oh.
73-year-old Bill Castle, a champion again.
He has been one amazing football coach, nearly half a century.
Polk County Athletic Director right there to congratulate Bill Castle, and former assistant head coach with this program. An improbable outcome and a phenomenal performance by the Dreadnaughts.
Really, and I said it a few minutes ago, offense, defense, and special teams, all 3 phases of the football game, they won. They ran the ball, on one of the best defenses we've ever seen. That's who we highlighted before the game, all those great players. They ran the ball on them. They played defense against a very hard rushing team, forced them to pass. The pass was successful for a while, and they were able to shut that down as well. And they add this special teams 99-yard kickoff when the Raiders were just starting to get that momentum. The kickoff return answered, and they put them away.
So many big plays, so many contributions from different players on the Lakeland roster. But DeMarcus Bowman, without question, was the star. 22 carries, 211 yards, and his 36th touchdown of the year.
How many teams have ever rushed for 200 yards against Aquinas? Players, I mean, 200 yards, that's amazing.
I think your first statement is probably right.
Yeah, teams, anybody, right? Yeah, exactly right. No, they were impressive. And you got to give guys like Crawford their due. Guys in the backfield, Tony Ware and Kadar Hall. Graham got the long touchdown. They were good all the way around. Latrell Jean, their senior defensive tackle, was big time.
There is Lakeland's most famous fan. He gets a cheer. That big ship on his head, and he celebrates along with the young men on this roster and the coaches. A moment they will remember forever. First time since 2006 that Lakeland wins a championship. And it comes against a top 10 team in the country. Well, you said Bill Castle is never going to retire. But if there was ever a moment you could pick to go out, would this be it?
I asked Bob Weiner that before the game about that. If he wins tonight, what do you think? And he said no. He said this is what he does. Other than those dogs, this is what he does. So I don't know.
Just a phenomenal game. And the distraught players from Aquinas, the expectation all year to win a state championship. And the Raiders come up short 2 years in a row. Lakeland players filtering into the crowd. You think about some of the personalities on this team. How about Trey Huntley, the senior defensive tackle? He was a ball boy for Lakeland in 4th grade. Had his father and older brothers in the program. Diaby Hammond played at IMG Academy last year, came back to Lakeland to play for his hometown team. So many unique stories associated with this program. And the party just beginning for the players and coaches and all the fans that made the hour trip down I-4 to support this team.
It's been fantastic. What a run. Undefeated again. They were so dominant back in 06, that 3-year run, and man, they had a great year. Unstoppable.
Early postseason losses the last several years. Twice to Plant. Vieira in 2015, that 35-28 loss to Osceola in 2014 when Lakeland was undefeated in the regular season. And it's not just a state championship. It is an undefeated state championship.
That's what I mean. It's been all year. They just had a magical run, and their runner, Bowman, has been unstoppable, almost to 2,500 yards on the year, with a 211-yard tonight. Just unstoppable.
Last time they won it, 06, elite running back in Chris Rainey, and in 2018, elite running back in DeMarcus Bowman.
So will we be right back here again next year with this same matchup? We'll have to find a quarterback. Lakeland will have to find a quarterback there. Quarterback this year had a great final game to lead his team to a state championship. Kowalski McWilliams.
championship ceremony getting ready to take place down there on the field. St. Thomas Aquinas right now being presented with the state runner-up trophy, and the Lakeland players waiting for their moment to shine. Not what the Raiders came here for, but they finished the year 13-2. And that team will certainly be back. Silver medals for the Raiders from St. Thomas Aquinas. And now the attention will shift over to the far sideline as Lakeland waits for the championship trophy to be handed over by FHSAA Executive Director George Tomlin.
Austin, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts built a 10-0 lead. The pressure went on to the Aquinas Raiders. They answered that call and came out like gangbusters. And then the Dreadnaughts shut it down. They deserved this victory.
A kickoff return, a huge play in the game. Fenley Graham, after Aquinas made it 10-7, he goes 99 yards, matching the longest kickoff return in state finals history.
There was a lot of football played in those first 2 minutes and 48 seconds of the second half. Wow.
Bill Castle and Dywanski McWilliams both going through some interviews. FHSAA wanting to make sure that the head coach can be over there for this moment. And here it comes. Bill Castle up on the podium, ready for the championship presentation.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, join us as we honor the 2018 Class 7A state champion team with a record of 15 wins and no losses, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. Mr. Bass and Mr. Tomlin will present the state championship trophy to head coach Bill Castle and his captains, Keon Zipperer, Jahari Martin, Alik St. Ami, and Latrell Jean. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 Class 7A state champions, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts.
Those players and coaches will replay that phrase in their head for a long time. The 2018 7A state champions, the Lakeland Dreadnaughts.
Well deserved. That's all I can finish with. It's well deserved.
Thrilling 7A championship game here tonight at Camping World Stadium. A reminder, we've got 3 more title games tomorrow, 3A, 6A, and 8A, including that 6A rematch between Armwood and Miami Northwestern. All the games streaming free for Spectrum customers. For Jeff Carlson and our entire Spectrum Sports crew, led by producer Chris McCulley, Austin Lyons saying so long from Camping World Stadium. Congratulations to Coach Bill Castle and the Lakeland Dreadnaughts. We got gold,